You know what the hardest part of trying to record YouTube videos having ADHD is? It's not that people discriminate against me. It's not that people comment mean stuff. It's literally that I forgot every single time to plug in the microphone and then my audio just sounds terrible, and every single time I have to record the intro like 5 times before I get it right. Okay. I'm getting 3 tattoos done today. 3 tattoos. Stay tuned for that. Hello once again, friends and family. Today I'm coming a little bit closer to my goal of becoming a complete degenerate. In case you're new to this channel, we usually talk about psychology. Today we're speaking about tattoos because I'm getting 3 tattoos. Also, I believe that tattoos are completely psychological, but I'll probably make a video on that later. The first tattoo I'm gonna get today is a Linkin Park tattoo. Linkin Park is one of my favorite bands of all time. I just love their music. I've been listening to it for like years and years and years. I have this little triangular space left here in my sleeve, and I think it's just like it's asking to be that Linkin Park symbol. We'll see how that looks. I'll show you later. The second tattoo I'm getting is from a book series called MISTBORN. The first book is actually called The Final Empire, but the series is called MISTBORN. This book is from one of my favorite authors. He's called Brandon Sanderson. He actually has a channel here on YouTube. I watch almost every single one of his videos. Like, I just love hearing him talk about writing, and yeah, just I think it's very interesting. And his books, man, his books are incredible. Apart from Joe Abercrombie, like, I don't think anyone comes close to Brandon Sanderson. Like, the magnitude of the world he writes and like the magic systems and the people, like everything's just perfect, man. Anyways, I'm getting one of the symbols from his magic system tattooed into my body. I'll show you later. It will look sick, and also it means a lot to me. Maybe I'll explain later. I'm not gonna explain now because there's a lot to see. Like, this video is gonna be long if I don't like hurry up a little bit. And the third tattoo I'm getting is a Lord of the Rings tattoo. Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite books of all time, and the third movie is literally my favorite movie of all time. So kind of that just speaks for itself. But I watch Lord of the Rings when I'm sick. I watch Lord of the Rings when I'm bored. I watch Lord of the Rings whenever like I haven't watched Lord of the Rings for a long time. And I mean like the extended versions with 4 hours. I watch that, and that is my cake, man. I love it. So today I'm putting it here in the kind of hopes that I'll stop doing tattoos on this arm because I'll have a line here. But yeah, we all know that's not gonna work. But yeah, this last one I'm actually getting with my friend Alex. We were speaking the other day and we realized that we basically wanted the same design for a tattoo, so I'm meeting with him right now. He's actually waiting for me and I'm late, so let's just go, guys. So I met up with Alex and we immediately got on the road. We decided that he was gonna be the one driving because, well, rock beats scissors. So we got on the car, we drove for an hour, and I gotta say, like, for the first time in like 1 year that I've been getting tattoos, I wasn't like super nervous for 2 days before I actually got it. You can take whatever conclusions you want from that. Sorry, Mom. When we got to the studio, I thought it was gonna be like a really small studio and maybe a little bit dark. I don't know why I had this expectation. Maybe it's just because of the vibe of Romero's Instagram, but the studio was super bright. Like, there was artwork on the walls. It just looked very cared for and super interesting. Like, you could see exactly what the artists enjoyed about what they did. As soon as we got there, we met with Romero. He was super chill, super nice. He explained to us what was his thought processes behind the designs, and he showed us what he prepared for the session. And man, he was a really dedicated artist as well. Like, the day before, he actually asked me what the Elvic meant so that he could check on the Elvic alphabet if everything was right. Like, what? And like, the designs that he prepared, I gotta say they were a bit different than what I expected, judging from his usual artwork, but I wasn't disappointed, not in the slightest. Like, the MISTBORN symbol resembling metal, just it looked exactly like it should be, you know? Like, I couldn't be happier with it, and honestly I couldn't wait to just put it on my skin and see how it looked. But actually the first one to tattoo was Alex. And just a little FYI, if you want to do like an armband, it might take a while to put your stencil on. We spent maybe like 1 hour or 1 hour and a half just trying to figure out how to properly put Alex's stencil before we started tattooing. And at a certain point I just started to feel bad because like I could see that Alex was really nervous about his tattoo and it was taking a long time for it to start. And so after we got everything down, Alex finally laid down on the table and he was ready to start tattooing. And at that moment, I will never forget that moment because, you know, like, Alex has been my friend for maybe like 12 or 13 years, and I've always considered him to be one of my most like stoic friends. I've seen him sick and you can't even tell that there's something wrong with him. But when he got on that table and the artist looked at him and said, "We're gonna start with the most painful area, is that okay?" The face that he made was priceless. And thankfully I'm doing this YouTube thing because now I get to keep this footage forever. Unfortunately, after it actually started, like, Alex was pretty chill and he enjoyed the experience. I mean, unfortunately, because it wasn't funny anymore, but thankfully, like, he liked everything and he was just like, you know, like this. Show some emotion for the love of God. You guys will see in like 2 minutes the face that I do when I get tattooed. It took maybe like another hour and a half so that Alex's tattoo was done. And by the end of it, it looked pretty damn sick, like, not gonna lie. And at that moment, I was pretty glad that I wanted to do the same one, because I just looked at it and it was just so perfect. He was done with that tattoo and we went to have lunch. We actually had lunch with the tattoo artist, which was also very fun. Like, they told us a bunch of stories, like, and overall it was just a pretty chill day up until my turn to get tattooed. The first tattoo I was gonna do is a Linkin Park one, and that actually wasn't hard. Like, the position was very uncomfortable, but I think he was done in like maybe an hour, and that tattoo was actually the one that I had the lowest expectations for, because it was just very simple. But the end product, it really surprised me, like, taking into account that whole 3D style thing. Like, I just think it looks very detailed and like it brings a whole new life to like something that should be simple, and it just fits into the sleeve perfectly. And then second tattoo, the MISTBORN tattoo. I knew that this tattoo was gonna hurt. I knew that I was gonna suffer a little bit, but I did not know how much. Like, there were certain points within this tattoo where my arm was literally like bruised and all purple. Like, it looked bad. And the faces that you're seeing that I'm doing here in the video, I swear to God, they're justified. Like, it was hurting. And like, as soon as he was done with the outline, like, everything was all red, and then he just painted on top of the red skin. Like, yeah. Okay, never mind. I don't want to relive that moment. Let's just skip to the end thing. This is how it looks. And yeah, I'm also very happy. I don't really know how it's gonna look, because like, it was very bruised after we were done, and like, you can't really distinguish what's just bruises from the shading, but still I thought it looked very good. And it also complements like the flow that the sleeve is kind of taking. After suffering that much with the second tattoo, I gotta admit, I was pretty tempted to say like, maybe let's do this one another day. And I think that one of the main reasons, if not like the only reason why I didn't do that, is because like, I went in with Alex to do the same design, so it wouldn't really make sense for me not to do the design that we went together for. And so I did it. But it was like 2 more hours, not counting like the hour and a half that we had to prepare the stencil, added to the maybe 1.5 hours from the Linkin Park logo and the 2 hours from the MISTBORN tattoo. I was literally there like the whole day getting tattooed, and I was done with it, man. Like, I was actually speaking with Alex about this afternoon. Like, I was asking him what he thought about the pain, and like, if he understood what people said about being addicted to the tattoo pain. And he said, well, no, I mean, I didn't enjoy the pain. Like, it's not an enjoyable experience. What about you? And I was like, well, I wish I was addicted to that pain, because like, I want the designs, I get the whole conquering thing, but after 8 to 10 hours, you're like, come on, really? More? And there you have it. Those are the tattoos that I've had done today, actually yesterday. You know, they hurt a lot. I suffered through the whole day, but it was a fun experience. But you know how it goes, like, after you're done tattooing for like the whole day, and then it comes to the end of it, what's left is only the most painful part of all, which is actually paying for the tattoo. And since Alex and I didn't have any money, we actually kidnapped our artist and we're making him tattoo the rest of our sleeves for free. Let's just pause a little bit here. When I had the idea for this bit, where I was gonna say like, so I didn't have money, so I kidnapped my artist, I asked him and his girlfriend to like make a face like I'm being kidnapped, and this is how they look doing that. Guys, why are you smiling? You are being kidnapped. Please act like it. Stop smiling. But yeah, the actual story is that we discovered that the artist actually lived really near to us, and we offered him a ride home. So yeah, pretty chill day. We had a lot of fun, and if you ever want to get tattooed in Lisbon, if you live here or if you come by, I highly recommend that you do it with Romero, because he's just great and like very professional. Also, I got a comment that like, I know that some people consider like the perfectionism to be too much sometimes, and like maybe it makes you tattoo a little slower, but I will always choose to like have a tattoo done more slowly and like very closely paid attention for. And that's exactly what we got here. And Alex was really happy about his tattoo and I'm very happy about mine. And yeah, that was pretty much the day I had yesterday. So yeah, that's gonna be everything for today's video. I hope you had fun in this video. We didn't talk about psychology once again, but I swear next week we'll catch up. But speaking of that, I doubt you've watched every single one of my psychology videos, so here's one for you to watch. And in case you're not subscribed yet, if you consider doing so, I really appreciate that. And if you had fun, please leave a like in this video. I really appreciate that too. And yeah guys, that's everything from me today. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you next week. Bye guys. Hey guys, I'm here editing the video and I just wanted to comment on the thing that I said about the meaning behind my tattoo. Maybe it's a better idea for me to just make a future video where I go through every single one of the tattoos on my sleeve and let you know the meaning behind all of that. If you're interested in something like that, then send me a message or leave a comment or something and I'll make that video for you. And yeah, thank you again for watching. See you next week.